Did you guys hear about the Sigma Alpha Epilson that shut down at the University of Oklahoma after a racist video of these knuckleheads had surfaced? Did you hear the song that they sung on the bus? If not, Tammy, I only caught like 5 seconds. I want to watch this with you in real time, and we can give our reactions afterwards to what we're seeing here. You guys, you'll hear the audio, but basically, somebody that was on this bus with the Sigma Alpha Epilson Fraternity, they recorded what these guys were singing and chanting and all that. And I like what CNN did with this piece, as they have big captions up. So let's play it for you guys. We'll give you guys our reaction in real time. Hopefully you can hear this very well. Let me crank up the volume. And let's go.
The audio on this clip is disturbing. A group of young men and women on a bus who don't seem to know they're being recorded, chanting this. The clip purportedly shows students from the University of Oklahoma using a racial slur, the N-word, singing about their fraternity, Sigma Alpha Epsilon. It was allegedly filmed Saturday as the group headed off to a date party for the fraternity's Founders Day. Within several hours of the clip being posted and shared online, the Sigma Alpha Epsilon National Headquarters announced it was closing its OU chapter and suspending its members. In a statement, the fraternity's leadership says, quote, "We apologize for the unacceptable and racist behavior of the individuals in the video, and we are disgusted that any member would act in such a way." It goes on to say, quote, "We are hopeful that we can reestablish the Oklahoma Kappa chapter at some point in the future with a group of men who exemplify our beliefs and who serve as leaders on campus and in the community." The university president, David Boren, also promising an investigation, saying, quote, "This behavior will not be tolerated and will be addressed very quickly." The response online to this clip has been sharp. One group called Unheard on Twitter, planning a rally Monday. Others changing their profile pictures. Some students on the OU campus came together for a prayer circle Sunday night, denouncing that some in this video laughing. Fair to say, no one's laughing now. George Howell, CNN, Atlanta.
God damn. Ooh-wee. Let's just rewind that back a little bit. I just want to read that captioning, but I'm going to edit myself.
Men and women on a bus who don't seem to know they're being recorded, chanting this.
There'll never be a wigger at SAE. There will never be a wigger at SAE. You can hang them from a tree, but they'll never sign with me. Home in on that. You can hang them from a tree, but they'll never sign with me. There will never be a wigger at SAE. It kind of reminds me, I know you don't like the series, but it reminds me of an episode of The Boondocks with Uncle Ruckus. And I can do a pretty good impersonation of him, but basically in the episode, he says something along the lines of, "No, you'll never be a napping little nigger for me." You know, he kind of says something like that. And I look, you shake your head, but those that watch Boondocks, I challenge you to play that episode with Uncle Ruckus and that little song he was singing and match that up to what these guys did right here in this video. I don't know if maybe they were inspired by the Boondocks episode, but
highly doubtful.
But exactly, highly doubtful, but similar lyrics. But in all seriousness, wow.
Yeah, that's a wow. You know, when you get to your further states down south, you still unfortunately find a lot of racism. Maybe not all, and I mean, no way saying all. But unfortunately, it's as you've heard, it's still very prevalent. That wow, I mean, that just puts it right at the forefront. And I'm glad they took the action that they did as quick as they did, because if not, there would be serious actions being taken by other people who were outraged at what they just saw.
I mean, it sends the wrong message. I mean, first off, if you're gonna do something like that, it's wrong. No, we can be in agreement. It's totally wrong what those guys did. It was freaking stupid. It was a boneheaded move, right? And I'm like this: if you're gonna do something like that, do it in an area where it is very controlled, where it is not as public. Most importantly, if you're going to do something like that, cough up your cell phone. What? Yeah, you got to cough up your cell phone. You'll get it back an hour later. Oh, man. Yeah, I know. Come on, cough it up. Anything with a camera, anything, any audio. I'm not encouraging it. I'm saying this is supposed to be a fraternity group. Mm-hmm. And it's like, are you guys thinking?
But still, in the age that we live in now, you just never know. Even if you are in a controlled area, even if you try to censor, by taking the cell phones and taking to this and taking to that, you still don't know whether somebody has this device or this or this that will then record something you did. I mean, how do you...
Donald Sterling's a good example.
Right.
He was in his own home.
Exactly. And how do you think that these kids felt? They were on a bus. They were on a bus. It was their own fraternity. They were on a bus. I'm sure they didn't think that there was going to be somebody recording them singing them. So, I mean, obviously, but it happened. And, I'm sure some of them are going, oh my gracious, I can't believe that just happened.
I can't believe that they're even entertaining the idea of at some point bringing back that fraternity. I think that fraternity needs to be, what's the right word, abolished? I probably said that
right now.
I probably said that wrong.
No, actually, abolished is right.
Okay.
But they're abolishing it for right now.
No, it should be a lifetime ban. Don't never bring that back.
Most of you out there know that if you are in a fraternity or were in a fraternity, 9 times out of 10, there are things in that fraternity that you guys did that would turn heads. It's just the way it is. Those are whatever I've heard about fraternities, and that's pretty much what I've heard. So,
I had an opportunity when I was going to Duke Ellington School of the Arts in Georgetown. I studied in visual arts, and those of you that know about Duke Ellington School of the Arts, you know that Dave Chappelle is a Duke Ellington alumni. Debbie Allen. I mean, it's an all-star list of celebrities that have graduated from there. After I graduated from there, I had a serious decision to make, which was which school am I going to go to? And every single week in my senior year, we had different recruiters from colleges come by. One of the college recruiters was from the University of Maryland. And, great program. Everything looked good. Came down to the price. It was a little bit expensive. But, one of the things that eventually made me go with another university for my continuation in expanding my horizons in graphic design, visual arts, and all that was I didn't like the fact that University of Maryland had a fraternity. I wasn't for fraternity groups because for me, fraternity groups just seemed like it was a big distraction from what you're really going to college or a university for in the first place, which is about continuing your education, getting that degree so that you can get that 6-figure salary and more. Possibly, trying to be your own entrepreneur. I always felt that fraternities were nothing more than a big distraction. Unless it was a fraternity that, like, they were really making a difference, that they were really helping each other with with their homework, or doing something really good in the community, things like that. Unless it was something like that, the whole let's go get drunk and stupid and nail girls on a Friday, I didn't find that pleasing to me. And to hear these stupid little stories about, oh, well, this person had died from beer poisoning because they drank so much beer, and it happened with the fraternity blah 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 Omega, and you're like, what the hell? And I'm quite sure that these parents that's sending their kids off, first of all, shame on the parents, and it's mostly the guys, all right? Shame on the parents that say to their kid, well, Junior, when I was your age, I was actually in the Alpha, Beta, Omega, what the fuck, Delta group, and I wore my jacket in colors well. You're gonna be a good... I cannot repeat what I just said. That's whatever the name of that group was, I said, you're gonna be a good little fucker when you join that. and you're gonna follow in my footsteps, damn it. It's how you become real men, And you know what? Let me give you guys a good movie recommendation. Al Pacino, Chris O'Donnell, Scent of a Woman. The story that is told in that movie, basically Al Pacino, he plays a wounded war veteran that's blind, and during this one holiday break, Chris O'Donnell, he needs extra cash. Help me jog my memory right. He needed the extra cash so that he could go see his family, or that he could have some money. It was either so he could go see his family, or he could have money together for the next semester or something like that. But long story short, he ended up, and I say this word respectfully, but he ended up babysitting Al Pacino's character.
I would say he was more of a companion to him, not babysitting.
Okay, I guess not babysitting. Yeah, and Baird. That was it. Baird Men. That was the fraternity or whatever. Baird.
Something like that.
No, that's what it was. It was Baird. And the late... Who's the guy that died? Philip Seymour Hoffman. He was in it. And Philip Seymour Hoffman's character and these other kids, they were trying to get Chris O'Donnell to go with them on this trip, on this ski resort trip. But he didn't have the money because it was so expensive. And there was some type of... practical stunt that they did on campus grounds, and basically right as it was going into the holiday break, it was like, who did this? Because there was an act of vandalism that was done to the president's car, and he did this whole investigation, was trying to find out what all had went down. Here's Chris O'Donnell's character. He's going to this school to continue his education. He's not doing the fraternity thing and all that. He's from some small little town, where he got to that prestigious college because of his grades. It was his grades that got him on their radar, because they had like this elite program where they would hand pick a certain set of people that could come there, and he was one of those people. And it's a great movie. I don't want to give anything else away, but you all should really check that movie out, because it ties into what we're talking about. Which, again, for me, that's why I never liked fraternity groups, especially the men fraternity groups. The female fraternity groups, isn't it amazing? You never hear stupid shit going on with the female fraternity groups. Why is that? I don't know. Maybe because women are smarter than men?
Well, I mean, grant you have, each group has their own hiccup. Grant you, we're not out to bash fraternities. I will be perfectly honest with you. I never wanted to join one myself.
For what reasons? The same reasons, or?
Basically the same reasons that you just stated. Grant you have fraternities that do great things. And, they are a great sisterhood or brotherhood, and you have people who join that fraternity and think of it as a saving grace for them. But grant you, most of everything else that comes out that you hear is so negative that you kind of makes you wonder.
It really does. It really does. And look, you're right. We shouldn't crap on all fraternities, but I tell you, man, as of late, I've been seeing a lot of fraternities in the newspaper. It's bad. Just a couple of months ago, last year, there was a guy at the University of Maryland campus, as a matter of fact. He died from beer poisoning.
Alcoholic poisoning.
Alcohol poisoning, yeah. Mm-hmm. Alcohol poisoning. I mean, they were drinking like a mother down there. And how it is down there at the University of Maryland, because they got the Terps down there and all their other little college teams. So anytime something big happens with those college teams, they're out there and they're partying like it's 1999 and all that.
It doesn't have to be a game. It could just be a weekend. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They want to blow off steam and they want to get their drink on. And then all of a sudden, maybe there's this is your pledge. You have to drink da 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 of this and so much of that. It's just, I don't know. That was, honestly, for me, that was the reason that I never even wanted to even remotely even look into it.
And see, I just want to say this as we get ready to close this out. As far as I'm concerned with what I saw of these people, of these bonehead teenagers that were singing the stupid song and all that, first off, they should be ashamed of themselves for doing that. But at the same time, you kind of have to trace it back to their parents, because this could be a situation where a lot of these kids growing up, they may have been taught by their parents, hey, it's all about the white people, minorities are beneath us. There's no telling what be going on in those households, but life is always a choice. Racism is definitely a choice. If you decide to go out on the street as a Caucasian person and you see a African American walking down the street and you call them a nigger, that is a choice that you made. Same thing if you see a Korean or a Japanese or an Asian and you call them a chink, or you see a Hispanic, you call them a spick. Racism is a choice. It is a choice in state of mind. And for a lot of people, unfortunately, it could be a situation where growing up in their respective household, this just keeps getting hammered and hammered and hammered into their head, that they're made to believe that, hey, what I'm saying and all that, it's okay. And at the same time, given how far along our society has come, in today's society, you still have those people behind closed doors that don't like the fact, for sure, that we have an African American president in the White House. I can't begin to tell you how many people that I'm aware of that are a little bit racist. That definitely, you mention Obama, they will get all nice and worked up, red hot, all that crazy shit. But, this is a situation right here where I know the kids are probably going to be like, oh, well, there was alcohol, and they're probably going to say, oh, I know they're probably having discussions about this all throughout the shows on CNN and Fox News. And once again, they're going to be like, oh, it's that damn rap. It's the rap that we need to blame. It's the rappers and all this other stuff. Look, when I was growing up as a kid, I grew up on NWA, straight out of Compton. I grew up on Sir Mix-a-Lot. I grew up on Ice-T, Eazy-E, Snoop Dogg, all those guys, okay? And I'm talking about at a time where you had the East Coast versus the West Coast rap wars that was going on, the turf and all that, Crips and Bloods and all that other stuff. I was listening to albums I knew damn well I had no business listening to. But you know what? When I got to school, I didn't talk that way. When I got around my friends, I didn't talk that way. Not unless I knew for certain that they messed with the same type of music, movies, and all that I did, that would be like the only way I would kind of be loose around them. But normally, I would just keep to myself. I would be one way, and then when I would be in my bedroom, I'd be a completely different person. So I need to thank my mom for that. I need to credit her for that when she was raising me, because she was into all that type of music, and she would let me listen to it, but she would tell me, hey, when you get ready to go out, you're at school and all of that, don't be talking like that. So early on, I knew right from wrong. And you look at this video with these people on this bus, and their age, you can tell clear as day that they know better, that they should definitely have known better. I don't feel sorry for them whatsoever. I'm glad that the fraternity is shut down. I hope that the next step that happens is that these kids, they get expelled from school and all that. And rather than see all these shows be going around talking about how rap is to blame, blah this, blah that, try to point the finger at everybody else, let's make this be a smart discussion about it's on the fault of these young kids and their parents for what it is that they are teaching them when these kids are growing up, because that needs to be the real discussion. At the end of the day, the parents definitely need to take some type of responsibility, and these young men and women that were caught in this position that they were in definitely needs to take responsibility. Bump blaming it on ecstasy, alcohol, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning, bump all that bullshit. The bottom line is you screwed up. You messed up big time. You got exposed for your true feelings on other people of different ethnic backgrounds. Now is the time where you need to man up, and you need to say to yourself, how can I stop with this hate teaching that really has been bestowed upon me by my parents? Because it's safe to say that's where it all came from. But I'm going to end it on that note.